Hello, I'm Grandpa John. I'm going to show you how to recondition Pella Windows. This house was built in 1986 and is now 2025. These windows are 39 years old and they operate just like new because every 3 to 5 years I recondition them. This is how I do it. The key thing about these old windows are these vents located on both sides of the window at the top and the bottom. They allow air in to stop fogging of the windows. They can get clogged with dirt and debris. Here's one that's completely blocked. Well, what do you need? You need some Windex, some paper towels, some lubricant, a scraper, a dental pick, a pair of pliers, a 1/8 inch drill, and some lubricant. The most important thing to do is to stop damage from water and wind. So it's important to look at the caulking and repair any caulking that there is. Make sure that there are no cracks in the caulking, replace if necessary, and make sure there's no peeling paint. If so, repaint. I personally wash all the windows first outside on a nice sunny day, at the same time as inspecting the windows. Let's get started on the inside. First of all, remove any window coverings and remove obstructing brackets. We're going to deal with two kinds of windows, the fixed type on the left and the movable type on the right. The first thing you do is to remove the screen. I personally then wash it because I want it to dry over time. Important that things are dry before you put things back together. I then remove the internal window pane by opening the tabs all the way around the window. I then use a pair of pliers to pull out the window. It often sticks, so this has to be done very carefully. I then clean the inside of that window pane because it needs to be dry when you put it back in. Now here comes the important part. You see how blocked this vent is? I'm going to use a 1/8 inch drill bit and clean it out, much like a root canal. I'm going to push the drill bit in and out a few times to get it as clean as possible, making sure that the drill bit goes all the way through. Then I use some compressed air and I blast it out with basically an electronics duster. The next thing we do is we clean all around the window, particularly in the rails that the opener goes on. I use a small dental pick to get inside and get all that grime around. I dig around all the joints and also around the edges. There's a lot of grime that gets at the bottom of the window, and we need to clean that out because otherwise it just repeats itself over time. Then I clean everything very carefully with a cloth all the way around the window, and I clean all the joints and the various levers that are there. It's important to get as much grime out as you can. The next thing I do is I lubricate. And I lubricate each joint with an external lubricant. I squirt it inside the main mechanism, but every place that there's a joint, I squirt in some lubricant, both at the bottom and at the top. So there's two joints at the top, one right at the top of the windowsill, and one on top of the window itself. It's very important to get everything done. Then I spray inside the track. Finally, I open and close the window a number of times to let everything get lubricated, and it's amazing how smooth things are after you've lubricated it. The next thing to do is to clean the inside of the outside pane. It's important to get that completely dry, and then we reinsert the window, putting the bottom in first and pushing it in as you go up the wall. Then we close those tabs like we opened them in before. We then clean the inside of the inside pane, followed by reinserting the screen. Bottom first, top, and then pushing in those side tabs. Now the only thing different about a fixed pane is that we have to insert our pick into the edge to clean out the side so that vent can vent out to outdoors. It needs to be done at all four areas. Here's an example of how after I cleaned out these vents, they can get quite dirty. That dirt will stop the air from coming in. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a lot of success with your windows.